All right, everybody. So it looks like we have the first day in the bag, the first official day in the bag for this case here, Georgia versus Jose Ibarra. Now, this is a case, guys, that we've been talking in the chat. It's kind of unique in the sense that the defense has demanded or is having a bench trial because this is the type of case that a jury would absolutely just convict. Um, there's no way um, they're going to move forward and say, okay, we're going to give this guy a presumption of innocence or a reasonable doubt or anything like that. Number one, he's not a citizen of the country, so not that that's the way it should be applied, but I guarantee you, the people in that jury room would say, hey, we're not messing around with it. So it's one of these situations where um, you want to have a judge look at this because it's going to be a matter of applying the law. Um, and I appreciate that, Lisa McClendon. Thank you. I have went back myself based on what you just put there, and I have put a little flag. It lets you do that. So hopefully I can find it in once this goes into post and I can blur it out. It won't let me do it for a little while. So hopefully it doesn't get flagged, but if it does, I may have to just take it all down. And then I can re-edit this thing and re-upload it without it. So I appreciate it though. Very much appreciate it. But like I said, this is one of those cases where the defense is going to be relying on the law and the way the law says evidence should be applied. I'm sure all of you've gone back by now and listened to the defense opening. They're going to be I thought it was a great line there where he said, "Listen, the state wants to rely on a human in one instance and say a machine can't be trusted, and in the next instance wants to say the machine should be trusted, but the human can't be trusted." And that's a conflict, and that is a conflict. A lot of times, a lot of people don't realize that when you look at in some cases. Now, this case obviously has a lot more to it. You've got video evidence. You've got a lot of stuff a lot of things that are phone evidence, geolocation. I mean, you've got a lot of things in this case that I think this judge is going to be able to hang his hat on and say the state's proving their case beyond a reasonable doubt. But in general, one of the things they are trying to use here is DNA evidence. And the DNA testing that they're using is such that because there is genetic, when you have family DNA, sometimes if you get an amount of DNA, you can't specifically go beyond saying it's consistent. Well, so could his brothers be consistent. That's what the defense is kind of relying on. So as a result, they are going to um, they are going to they are going to uh, use this additional testing, this additional machine, which is going to have a higher sensitivity level. The problem is, according to the defense, and I guess they've also attempted to keep it out, but the judge is allowing it in. The defense is going to try to argue that this machine is not reliable, that it's never been tested, that it's not been certified as a reliable piece of evidence, which means by definition, if you can't trust the test, if the test doesn't meet the standard of reliability necessary to say beyond a reasonable doubt, it's just like when Judge Cannon in the Ferris case was questioning about the CPAP machine. You can't trust the CPAP evidence then. That CPAP guy said, okay, we're going to go put an uncertified program to test the data, and then it spits out this stuff and says, well, how do you know you can trust the data? Well, you don't. And it wasn't manufacturer certified. It's the same with this DNA evidence. So what you really have there is you have DNA. You don't have DNA, and you can't tell beyond a reasonable doubt that the DNA works in favor of the defendant. So if the jury was applying the law, which a judge is going to have to, that would be a reasonable doubt in the sense that, or at least as according to using that evidence, and you'd have to say, okay, well, who do you break for? Well, you presume it. You apply the presumption of innocence to resolve the conflict, and you find in favor of the defendant. Um, you know, that's that's the issue. What's that now? Hold on here. I see. Dean, you have a question there? Will Steve come back or huh? Gotcha. Yeah, I've already marked it, guys. Just so you know, I marked that spot. I will. I can't take care of it. Unfortunately, it will not allow me to remove it until until I let it go to post, and then it's got a process, and then in the back end, it will let me go in and edit and blur it out. I can either blur it or I can actually take it out completely. I'll probably just blur it. Um, and the only thing is the danger I have is if I let it go through processing, and others have reported it as something that's not appropriate, it could pop me, and that'll be a problem. So I have to determine if I want to take down the entire live and make it private, which is probably what I'll do. So you guys might not see the live right away because I'll probably private it out until I can edit it, and then I'll just unprivate it once it's edited. It'll take a few hours because it's so live or because it's so large. So yeah, absolutely. But yeah, this is just like I said. This is one of the situation. This is one of those cases where the law, when you're looking at the evidence and you're looking at things like the DNA evidence and then the fingerprint evidence and the fact that this there's irregularities or there's tests that are being used that are not at standard. Technically speaking, those things shouldn't be used. So then you have to apply and look at it and say, okay, you have circumstantial evidence. But circumstantial evidence, as a judge instructs a jury, is as strong as other evidence. So it's just something that it's just something that they have to apply. They have to look at, and they have to make a determination. What else does the video evidence? Is it enough to say he did this? And of course, one of the factors that the defense is going to ask the judge to look at here is that ball cap had the DNA of the brother in it. And then you say, well, there was the DNA profile, which required a much more sensitive machine, which isn't certified or known to be accurate. It doesn't meet the levels of certification. It's never been used before. Going to ask the judge to then say, hey, how do we know then if they tell you that DNA on the cup was the brothers? They're similar in height. They're similar in build. Um, it's going to be, it's going to be interesting to see if the judge here in this case perhaps might shock everyone and find him not guilty. I don't think that's going to happen. Like I said, I really don't. But that's what the defense is going to ask. That's why the defense has went with a bench trial in this case, because they're going to argue that the state has failed to meet the burden of proof because there is a potential other person, and that is that brother. I don't know how far the defense is going to go with it. Maybe there's other stuff that they can come in. It'll be very, very, very interesting. But obviously, on Monday, there's going to be a conflict that's going on because we're going to have two trials going on now on Monday. This one, and we're going to have the Chloe, gosh, I'm forgetting her last name already, but the baby case. So it's going to be, to me, this case, even though you have all the stuff I talked about, even though they're hoping the judge is going to apply the law and maybe legally he should be found not guilty. Chloe Driver, that's it. I don't know why my brain malfunctioned there. I don't think there's really going to be that much to wonder about in this case. I think it's just going to be a matter of the judge crafting the legal basis to find him guilty, which I think there's plenty of. I mean, we have video of him in the hat. We have video of him with the jacket. We have video of him dropping the. It was going there. The judge is going to be able to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm choosing to rely on that DNA evidence." So I think it's going to be overwhelming, and I think that this guy's going to get convicted. And then on the driver case, though, I think there is to a lot more to decide on that one. And I certainly want to see the next expert who testifies, because that's going to be the one that actually talked to her about details of the case, and who is going to be giving the opinion about whether or not, at the moment that she did this crime, whether or not she should be held criminally responsible or not, meaning did she know right from wrong? And that's going to be huge. Um, so uh, I think it's going to be, that's going to be the one I'm going to put my focus on. But come back, I'm going to be clipping the witnesses still out on this one. I'm going to be watching this one, following up with this after court when the other one comes. So you probably won't hear me giving much feedback right after court happens, because I'm going to be over there, and I'll just admit it, I'm going to be over there watching that one and following up with this one later, in anticipation that maybe this one is still going on after the baby case is over. But we'll see. We don't know. Maybe they're both end at the same time. And again, I don't expect that. I don't expect really that this judge is going to deliberate too long. Normally, what happens is they do about a week delay, and then they come back, and then they deliver their verdict. So, anyways, with that said, guys, I appreciate everybody who came over, everybody who watched, everybody who hit the like button today. I apologize for the dog there, guys. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Balin wanted to jump on and just say hi to everybody. But I appreciate everybody who watched today, everybody who hit the like button, and at least we have. Again, that's exactly right, Melissa. That's exactly what I intend to do. It'll be one to watch on the breaks and things. And since there's a time delay, this one will be starting at 9 o'clock, so we'll get the first hour over here watching and seeing what's going on, and then we'll be able to jump between. And of course, the hour between lunch and lunch for the other case and this one will absolutely give it time to get caught up. So, um, there'll be plenty of time, hopefully, to stay caught up on this case. But in the meantime, guys, I appreciate you watching. Be on the lookout. There's going to be uh, full testimonies dropping of several key witnesses from the Chloe Driver case. So be on the lookout for that. If you guys are wanting to catch up or rewatch, those are scheduled. You should find them on the channel. In addition, I'm going to be putting up additional full testimonies of all the witnesses from this case coming soon here over the weekend. So if you want to relive any of the testimonies, do so, and be on the lookout. I might run this again if I have to edit it out, because if I do that, I'll have to launch it again. So you might get a chance to watch this. And what I'll do is, of course, I will have edited out the breaks and stuff, so it'll be a much shorter version. But we're going to have a blur over that section that we don't want seen. So be on the lookout for that. And hey, no problem. I appreciate you guys coming in and chatting with us. I appreciate you keeping the chat going, sharing it, sharing your views. And listen, I like to see all different types. So, only thing I ask in there, guys, it mods, everybody just, just be tolerant of everyone's views. Listen to everybody, hear them out, because I'll tell you what, there's been times I thought I knew something, or I thought I was believing this, and I started to listen and open my mind up a little bit, and next thing you know, boom, my mind changes. So be open. As my dad used to say, we don't all have to agree, but the important part is making sure everyone gets heard, and that's what we've got to do. Hear each other and listen, and that's what the jurors are going to do in that jury room, and you're going to get a multitude of views that's all going to come together, and that's kind of what we're hopefully recreating out here. And hey, you never know who's watching. So till then, guys, appreciate you all, and I will see you on Monday. I also be on the lookout too. I may be doing a live show on the Tyrone Tucker case tomorrow with some huge updates for those of you who have an interest in that case. Be watching. I'll be dropping a live link with a couple of hours notice for everyone once I decide. So, anyways, guys, talk to you all soon. Let justice prevail, and I'll see you on Monday.
The system's rigged, man, it's time to break free. Eyes wide open, gotta see what I see. Standing on the front lines, fighting for the truth. Lift the veil of lies, it's time to be the proof. Take a stand, don't you back down. Raise your voice, let's shake